use the bathroom, guys. If you give us a second, we'll take you to the station and you will use the bathroom, okay? We'll take it quick. Is that fair? Yeah. All right. Deal with this officer from your rear. All right. Damn, what?
Out of the law, the right decision was made. It's just that it's a damn shame that he gets to lean on the letter of the law. And the state of Nevada and the parole committee had to lean on the letter of the law because he's somebody that I believe doesn't only deserve to be in jail, he deserved to be under the jail.
Tank is done. Tank is hung him up, shoes off, get the bag, put a plaque up, he done. Tank is done.
When you say done, you mean like not fighting anymore?
Tank is checked out mentally. Tank is gone mentally. Tank looking for the big bag, of Jake Paul, Pacquiao, something solar, and he's looking to, hey, I'll see you later. Tank is standing. He's not gonna fight Shakur Stevens at all. At all. I don't care how much money Turkey offered, give him 4 Lamborghini.
The biggest fight of 2025 just got obliterated by a lawsuit so devastating it made Netflix and Jake Paul's entire camp run for the hills. We're talking about allegations that don't just end careers, they destroy lives. Gervonta Tank Davis, boxing's golden boy and Floyd Mayweather's hand-picked heir, just watched his entire empire crumble in 48 hours flat. This isn't some contract dispute or weight cut drama. This is domestic violence, kidnapping, and assault accusations that hit like a freight train, and the fallout is absolutely insane. The Jake Paul versus Tank Davis Netflix spectacle that was supposed to break streaming records, dead, gone, erased from existence, and Tank's career might be next.
What are you talking about? You know how much money he got? You know how hard it is getting out that bed to go run early in the morning in gym for hours, and you know you looking at 20 million easy. You own all this real estate. You rich. You don't have to do this ever again. Then the compounding interest, like let's say 20 million in the bank. He get 5% off of that, so he probably making 500,000 in interest. He's not even spending his money. So it's like, hell yeah, he out of here. What?
Here's what nobody saw coming. 2 weeks before fight night, everything was perfect. Tank was deep in training camp, looking sharp, talking trash on social media, doing all the promotional work. Miami was buzzing. Netflix had dumped millions into marketing this crossover event. Jake Paul versus the undefeated knockout artist with ties to Floyd Mayweather. This was supposed to be the fight that legitimized both guys on the biggest stage possible. Then Courtney Russell, Tank's ex-girlfriend, walked into a Miami courthouse and filed papers that changed everything. We're not talking about some he said she said Twitter beef here. This is a formal civil lawsuit with detailed allegations of battery, aggravated assault, kidnapping, and false imprisonment. She claims Tank physically attacked her at her workplace, a Miami nightclub, and here's the kicker, she says this wasn't even close to being an isolated incident. The court documents describe at least 4 prior alleged incidents involving assault and choking. 4 separate occasions. This paints a pattern of behavior that's absolutely chilling when you read through it.
Gervonta Tank Davis, the fight is in jeopardy. There's another, yes, I said another domestic abuse allegation against Gervonta Davis, and that may either destroy, postpone, change the entire event. There's been a lot of allegations against Tank. When things like this happen over and over, I think this is his 4th or maybe 5th allegation of domestic abuse, you kind of start to have to look at the person that's being accused of such and go, why do you keep ending up in these situations? And the way it's described, we've even seen Tank do some of the things already on camera. I don't think that's something that Netflix is wanting to be a part of at that point. I don't know if Jake wants to be involved with somebody like that, which is why they're starting to look for.
But wait, it gets worse. Russell isn't just seeking money and calling it a day. She's currently in professional treatment for PTSD that she directly links to the alleged abuse. We're talking about someone whose life has been fundamentally altered, who needs ongoing therapy to function. She's seeking both compensatory damages for the harm she's suffered and punitive damages specifically designed to punish Tank's alleged behavior. When someone's in therapy for trauma you allegedly caused, that's not a lawsuit that goes away quietly. That's the kind of case that dominates headlines for months and follows you for years. Within hours of these documents becoming public, Jake Paul's entire camp went into crisis mode. Most Valuable Promotions released a carefully worded statement about reviewing the situation, but behind closed doors the decision was already made. Tank Davis was toxic, untouchable. A liability they couldn't afford to be associated with.
Boxer Gervonta Tank Davis out of jail tonight. The famous South Florida fighter bonded out less than an hour ago.
Now, he's accused of assaulting his ex-girlfriend in front of their children. CBS News Miami's Trish Christakis is live at the jail in West Miami-Dade with details.
And here's where everything falls apart completely. Within 48 hours, not weeks or months, but 2 days, the entire Netflix event was canceled. While we will not be moving forward with this event, our plan still remains for Jake Paul to headline an event on Netflix in 2025, the official statement read. Translation: we're dumping Tank and moving on without him. Jake Paul's promoter Nikki Sabdarian didn't mince words either, releasing a statement saying MVP unequivocally condemns any form of violence against anyone and would be immediately severing all professional ties with Davis. No waiting to see how things played out. No benefit of the doubt. Tank was cut loose immediately, and honestly, if this had been his first legal issue, maybe people would have paused before passing judgment. Maybe they would have given him a chance to explain. But here's the thing that makes this story so much more damaging. This is just the latest chapter in a pattern of behavior that's been escalating for years.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Let me walk you through Tank's legal history, because it's absolutely wild how many red flags everyone ignored. Back in 2020, a video went completely viral showing Davis grabbing the mother of his child by the neck at a charity basketball event. A charity event, guys. The footage was disturbing, impossible to ignore, and spread across every social media platform. The optics were terrible, but somehow his career survived. Then in 2022, he faced similar domestic violence accusations all over again and was arrested. That case was eventually dismissed on technical grounds, but the pattern was becoming impossible to overlook. People in the boxing world started whispering about Tank's issues outside the ring, but his knockout power and marketability kept him protected. Then came 2023, and this is where things got really serious. Tank was sentenced to 90 days of house arrest and 3 years of probation for a hit-and-run incident that injured 4 people in Baltimore. 4 people got hurt because of his actions. This wasn't some minor fender bender. We're talking about real injuries to innocent people.
Hey, look, I actually like Tank Davis. He's a good, he's a good kid. He's a good fighter, a great fighter, actually. He's one of my favorites. Yeah, just get your... That's it, basically. Just shit, you don't hit women, man.
Yeah!
Now get this part, because it shows you everything you need to know about Tank's mindset. He couldn't even follow the court-ordered house arrest. He violated the terms and ended up serving actual jail time because he couldn't stay out of trouble even when a judge specifically told him what not to do. The man had one job, stay home and keep a low profile, and he couldn't even handle that. This is someone who repeatedly shows he can't follow rules, can't control his impulses, and can't learn from consequences. So when these new allegations dropped in 2025, everyone in the industry had the same reaction. Not again. We can't keep doing this. The excuses ran out, the second chances were used up, and the benefit of the doubt was completely gone.
Officially canceling the fight, saying Most Valuable Promotions immediately initiated an investigation. No, I had the wrong one. Okay, I'm reading this one. Most Valuable Promotions and Netflix have announced that Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis, the one I was reading was the one from late last week, originally scheduled for Friday, November 14th at the Kaseya Center in Miami, Florida, will no longer be moving forward. Quote, our team has worked closely with all parties to navigate this situation responsibly, said Nikki Sabdarian, CEO of MVP. While we will not be moving forward with this event, our plan remains for Jake Paul to headline an event on Netflix in 2025. And that is what I'm hearing as well. They want him to fight in December. That is the hope. And they're actively looking for a opponent. More on that in a moment. Details regarding a new date, location, Jake's opponent, and additional bouts will be shared as soon as they are finalized. We thank Netflix, Kaseya Center, Seminole Hard Rock and Hotel and Casino for their partnership.
The business side of this collapse is absolutely staggering when you break down the numbers. Tank didn't just lose a fight, he lost what would have been the biggest payday of his entire career. The purse was reportedly well north of $20 million, with Davis personally guaranteed an 8-figure payout that has now completely vanished. $20 million gone, just like that. But the money is just the beginning of what he's lost here. Netflix had positioned this as their next major boxing event following the massive Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson spectacle that broke streaming records. This was supposed to be Tank's introduction to mainstream audiences who don't normally watch boxing. His chance to become a household name beyond just hardcore fight fans. That opportunity is gone forever. You don't get a second shot at a Netflix debut. You don't get another chance to reach 100 million potential viewers. That ship has sailed, and it's never coming back to port.
The Tootsies and up a girl, dragged her through the parking lot, and in the face, and it's like, bro.
Okay.
Like,
wait, but how do you know that happened?
It's a lawsuit. Miami-Dade is coming. There's video, like everything, bro. He did this public. Like, you have to understand, this guy was so.
And here's where the damage spreads beyond just Tank himself. Sponsors started distancing themselves at lightning speed, not wanting their brands anywhere near this controversy. Netflix immediately took down all promotional content they'd already released, scrubbing their platform completely clean. Showtime, which had been Tank's former broadcast partner and aired several of his biggest fights, went completely silent and offered absolutely no public comment. When your former business partners won't even acknowledge your existence, that tells you everything about how toxic you've become. The November 14th Miami card that was supposed to be Netflix's next major boxing event has been completely scrapped and removed from the calendar entirely. But here's what's really telling about how the industry views this situation. Jake Paul's team didn't even pause to mourn the lost opportunity.
Davis fight has officially been canceled. It is off. It is not happening on November 14th. It is not happening in 9 days' time in Miami on Netflix, and I don't think it's ever happening. So if you weren't a fan of this fight, I think you got your wish.
While Tank's entire future hangs in the balance, MVP is already aggressively moving forward with new plans. Reports indicate they're planning a brand new Netflix event for December, with a list of potential opponents that reads like a who's who of combat sports. Ryan Garcia, Nate Diaz, Andre Ward, Terrence Crawford, even Francis Ngannou from the MMA world. The machine keeps rolling with or without Tank, and that's probably the most devastating part of this whole situation. He thought he was irreplaceable, but the industry just proved he's completely expendable. They found new opponents, new storylines, new ways to make money without him. Tank Davis has become yesterday's news before the ink was even dry on the lawsuit papers.
Hey, Jake, pick up the phone, champ. I've been calling you. Pick up. Let's make the fight happen. Pick up the phone, man. Stop playing.
It's absolutely remarkable how fast everything unraveled for someone who seemed untouchable just months ago. Gervonta Tank Davis was being hailed as boxing's next big superstar, Floyd Mayweather's chosen successor, the heir to the throne. Despite some controversial decisions in recent fights that left fans questioning the judges, his devastating one-punch knockout power made him must-see television. He had everything you could want in terms of mainstream appeal and crossover potential. Hip-hop connections with major artists sitting ringside at his fights, celebrity endorsements, massive social media buzz that translated directly to pay-per-view buys. He was being positioned as the face of boxing's new generation, the guy who would carry the sport forward into the streaming era. His team was already talking about super fights, unification bouts, legacy-defining moments that would put him in the same conversation as the all-time greats.
Training for something like this, obviously smaller guy. How is this in the training aspect, Jake?
Yeah, just a lot of punching down, practicing, hitting below my knees, and a lot of speed.
He warming up.
We're sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some 8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm gonna beat your ass and I'm gonna beat Jaden Love ass. On my mama, I'm gonna beat both y'all ass. On my mama. And he laughing. You know, he laughing.
What are you talking about?
What
does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. Nah, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't gotta say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm gonna show you and him. Bet.
But this latest development isn't just a career setback. It could very well be the knockout punch he simply can't recover from. This isn't about losing a fight in the ring where you can bounce back and redeem yourself with your next performance. This is about being completely abandoned by an entire industry that's washing its hands of you. What makes this situation even more dangerous for Tank is that we're not just dealing with a civil lawsuit here. These allegations could easily spark separate criminal charges. We're talking about aggravated assault, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. These are serious felonies that carry substantial prison time if proven beyond a reasonable doubt in criminal court. Since the alleged incidents occurred in Florida, a state known for having particularly strict domestic violence laws, Tank's legal team is probably on extremely high alert right now. One phone call from prosecutors could turn this from a civil matter into a criminal case that puts his freedom at risk.
And was it to get the towel out to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than, you know. But I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that. Or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know. It's cool.
And here's what's really telling about how serious this situation has become. Tank has gone completely silent. His social media accounts, which used to be filled with training clips, trash talk, and promotional content, have gone dark. No statements, no denials, no explanations. For someone who built his entire brand on confidence and always having something to say, this silence is deafening. It suggests his lawyers have told him to shut up completely while they figure out how to handle this mess. The boxing world's response has been immediate and sharply divided. Some fans are expressing genuine concern, saying Tank clearly needs professional help and intervention before something even worse happens. Others, including rival fighters like Ryan Garcia, have been far more direct and publicly critical of Davis's alleged pattern of behavior. But here's the thing that makes this different from previous controversies. The people defending him are getting quieter while the critics are getting louder.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight has been canceled because of new charges that came up on Gervonta. You heard it here first. Hit the thumbs up on the video. Make sure you share the video. The fight is off as we know it right now.
Let me put Tank's situation in perspective for you. He entered 2025 with an impressive record of 30 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw, and 28 knockouts. He was positioned as the undisputed face of the lightweight division, a once-in-a-generation puncher with explosive power reminiscent of prime Mike Tyson. Yet his toughest opponent has never been another fighter standing across the ring from him. It's been himself and his own self-destructive tendencies. Between constant court appearances, commission suspensions, and repeated public controversies, his career has been more stop-and-go than any elite champion should ever be. This time around, though, a comeback may prove genuinely impossible. When you're fighting both the legal system and the court of public opinion simultaneously, simply winning fights won't be enough to save your career. The sport has changed, and the tolerance for this kind of behavior has disappeared.
Just because I'm getting older now, but I feel like Gervonta is a hell of a fighter, but he needs to get his mental together. When I hear some of his interviews and I see some of the stuff that he's saying, I can just tell that he's not in love with the sport no more. I can tell that he didn't get his just due. I mean, it was crazy to hear that he said he got evicted out of a house or something like that.
So where does Tank realistically go from here? His entire future hinges on 3 critical factors. First, the lawsuit's outcome, which could result in athletic commissions suspending his boxing license indefinitely. Second, massive image rehabilitation, because he'll need to rebuild trust with fans, promoters, and networks from scratch. And third, the complex world of promotional politics, since most major promoters actively avoid signing fighters under active legal scrutiny. But here's the bigger question this situation raises about boxing as a whole. How much bad behavior can the sport excuse simply because someone has extraordinary talent? From Mike Tyson's prison sentence to Floyd Mayweather's repeated domestic violence cases, boxing has historically protected its top earners. The difference now is that major streaming platforms like Netflix are involved, and they play by completely different rules than traditional boxing promoters.
We can debate the top fighter in the world pound for pound. We can do that. What we cannot do is debate who's the most exciting fighter, who's the biggest box office attraction in boxing. That would happen to be Gervonta Davis. We just got to accept it. I think that Frank Martin is a talented fighter. He'll make some things happen down the line in the future, but we'll never look at him the same after that destruction. Not to say that we won't respect him, but we'll never look at him the same because he got destroyed by Gervonta Davis. And that's no shame, that's no slouch, but damn, still in all, if you get destroyed, you get destroyed. Gervonta Davis is the #1 box office attraction. Who I want to see him against next is Shakur Stevenson. I don't want to see him against Devin Haney because Devin Haney has proven to me that he's not a good punch taker. I want to see Gervonta Davis in the ring with somebody perceived as having enough power to put him on the canvas too.
Netflix doesn't need Tank Davis to be successful. They already have Jake Paul bringing in young viewers, established stars for nostalgia, and elite fighters for credibility. They want massive ratings and brand safety for their advertisers. For the first time in Tank's career, there may be absolutely no one left with enough power to protect him from the consequences of his actions. The streaming era has changed everything about how boxing operates, and fighters who can't adapt to higher standards of behavior are getting left behind. Tank is learning this lesson the hardest way possible, and it might be too late for him to recover. It's genuinely heartbreaking for boxing fans because inside the ring, Tank was absolutely exceptional. His lightning speed, perfect timing, and legitimate one-punch knockout power reminded everyone why they fell in love with boxing in the first place. He brought excitement and unpredictability to every fight, that rare quality that makes casual fans become hardcore fans. Outside the ring, though, he couldn't escape his demons or break his self-destructive patterns. Now his entire career sits in limbo with canceled fights that may never be rescheduled, legal issues that could take years to resolve, and a public image that might be beyond repair. Even before these allegations are proven true or false in court, the real-world consequences are already painfully clear. He's lost the Netflix platform that would have elevated his career, the biggest payday of his life, and potentially his entire future in professional boxing.
Gervonta Davis, what's your thoughts on that? Just overall, do you feel like Gervonta Davis is more checked out than being checked in boxing right now?
¿Sentís que Gervonta Davis está más desenganchado del boxeo que enganchado con el boxeo considerando lo que aceptó con Jake Paul?
So here's where we stand right now. Tank Davis went from being boxing's golden boy to completely radioactive in less than 48 hours. The Jake Paul fight that was supposed to make him a superstar instead became the catalyst for his downfall. Netflix, Jake Paul's team, sponsors, and former broadcast partners have all cut ties and moved on without looking back. The boxing world isn't asking when Tank will return. They're asking whether he should be allowed to return at all. This story isn't over yet, but it's definitely at a critical turning point that will define everything that comes next. The real question isn't whether he can physically fight again, it's whether anyone will give him the chance. Right now, that's looking incredibly unlikely. What do you think happens next? Can Tank Davis possibly recover from this, or is his career completely finished? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button if this breakdown helped you understand what really went down, and subscribe because this situation is far from over. I'll see you in the next one.
Tank, first off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. What's it? for entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion for entertainment. Don't do this at home, kids. You know, so fine.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer for entertainment purposes only. You know, so you know, it's money making purposes only. You know,
what it does for the sport, I think, and I get it. Like I was very open and honest with my last fight and the things around it. Tried not to be before because I didn't want anyone to, you know, not be excited for what was a good fight on paper, definitely. But when you kind of lose that love for the craft and the discipline and getting in the ring don't mean as much as it did when you was growing up and on the way up. I've kind of seen that in Tank. Now, he had a hard fight against Lamont Roach Jr. and that might have been a part of it. Like, wow, man, this is getting hard against fighters that I think I'm levels above, and turned out on the night that I wasn't. And not only that, with prize fighters, I hope, for the little people of the world, I hope Jake Paul gets absolutely starched by someone nearly half his size.